Welcome to another Chess 24 Blitz Banter, or Banter Blitz, whatever way you prefer. Okay, let's see, just checking the preview screen. I've muted in advance stuff, so hopefully we're ready to go. I'm going to check my challenges. I'm accepting challenges from Premier members, and I'll be going in order, ruthless order from the start. So I'm usually in the lobby half an hour before. Actually, I've been in the lobby where you can start building up the challenges against me. So Night Flight will be the first one today. Hello, Night Flight. Okay, so I've got the blank pieces here. Let's try and play a respectable opening. Please, I gotta say, note to self, don't play the Alvin counter gambit unless really wanting to get a bad position potentially. This is Benoni though. This is I've gone from potentially solid Queen's Indian territory, but I can play a snake Benoni. I've had good results with this against certain players like Lance on another site, which it's a tricky move, Bishop d6, the snake Benoni. So yeah, I guess I'm trying to make it interesting for you guys, but I've had good results with this. The snake goes like this, Bishop d6 to 7 to a5, potentially. That's the plan anyway. So Bishop c7 to a5. I think it's being used by British Grandmaster Julian Hodgson. So I'm putting Bishop there. So trying to exert pressure on some key squares. It's not as bad as it might seem, I think. Usually I've still got the classic modern Benoni pawn majority on the queen side. The bishop, it just isn't fianchettoed on g7, but it's got some properties. It shared some properties with a Benoni setup here. Okay, white's clamping down on b5. Can I actually maneuver this knight to g6? That's an advantage that I haven't actually used up the g6 square, so I might be able to put a knight there. You remember in the Benoni there's g6 and bishop g7, so it's quite different really. Is d6 the target? Well, that has to be proven. The Benoni maneuver would be knight d2 to c4 to try and probe d6. Is that easy here? Possibly. The bishop could go to g3. I'm going to actively chase that bishop to g3. Or do I want to lash out with g5? Oh, I'm tempted. I'm feeling a little bit on the naughty side for g5, knight g6 and g4. Oh man, okay, since I've mentioned it. I'm hoping I'm not going to regret these kingside weaknesses soon. d6, yeah, knight d2 to c4, and there's also the light square weaknesses. Same theory, I've got weaknesses. I've got light square weaknesses, I've got a dark square weakness pawn. But my idea was something like g4 at the right moment. What does queen d3 do? Interesting. Can I actually do this? I'm hoping I'm not going to be punished for this naughtiness. It will not be funny. So far, interesting. Maybe even h5 in this particular position for h4, carrying on the craziness on the king side. Although I think knight e4 looks good. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not actually convinced by my plan here. Which seems, I don't know. Anyway, let's try and forget. Let's try and just see what opportunities at the moment. h4, bishop h2. Okay, there's also knight e5 now. That's a reasonable knight. And then hopefully I can play h4 coming up after, or queen g5. It looks like a reasonable position, at least in some respects. Like the knight on e5, and also like h4 here. Okay, I'm prompting that bishop to take on e5. I do wonder if there's things like queen g5 later and f4, that would just win a piece, right? That's a pretty solid option. Can I put some pressure? Well, there's knight e4 runs into knight e4. Okay, so if I play f5 first, is that crazy? Just to try and hold that e4 square. And queen f6. Okay, queen f6. There's bishop g5, queen f7. I need some concrete proof that I don't want concrete proof that I'm refuted, but okay, he's pretty solid because I don't really want to take on f4. I think that's just going to favour white if I take on f4. That e file, I want to somehow build up some pressure and probably connect the rooks. Bishop d7, not rook e7 because there's bishop g5 coming up, but probably bishop d7, maybe even rook b8, b5. If I can just try and loosen my opponent's central control a bit by b5, b4, just to try and get that knight away from there. I think that's a sort of central control move in a way, b5, b4 here. I'm sort of marking e4 square, and it's starting to make a little bit of sense. Also, this bishop's looking at e1. The king's not going to escape via e1 if I did build an attack. But I think my first little plan must be about central control here. So rook b8, b5, b4, trying to undermine white's central control slightly. Okay, knight takes, there's bishop h4. Do I want to lose that pawn, or do I want to give this huge pass pawn instead? Maybe d6, bishop c6, knight d5. Doesn't look entirely pleasant. What about rook e5? Hold on a sec, I've got rook e5. That might be better than knight takes or pawn takes. Okay, that's a pin, a nasty pin on the surface. Can I just do this for a moment? For rook h8. Oh, there's bishop h4, but there's rook h8. Oh, knight f4 is happening. Ooh, this knight f4 looks actually quite dangerous. Ooh. Better get out of this pin. Oh man, what do I do about this pin? Queen g8. Maybe a temporary inconvenience, but probably necessary. Probably I've got to answer knight f4 with knight f4. Okay, there's queen h7 going around to h1. I've got e1 covered. I've got the escape route covered of that king. I can bring. I'm happy. There's queen h1, king e2. I'm sort of happy, but can I cover this diagonal to make it a bit better? To make that mating with the bishops, like looking at e2 and e1 here. Now taking gives me bishop b5. Oh, okay. I'll throw this check in and then rook h8. Okay, can I double the rooks? Okay, can I threaten mate? I'm not threatening mate, so I'm just blowing the exchange actually. Okay, I've blown the exchange. Oh, I've blown d6 as well. This is falling apart quite rapidly. It's good the opponent only has 2 seconds left. Oh, blimey. What have I done? Didn't I have a nice position earlier? I knew I should have gone to Cafe Nero. Okay. I'm on the Kenko coffee, so it should be an easier time for you guys. Well done, Night Flight. You're winning in the final position. I cracked up there. No, but you did great maneuvers. I mean, credit. I mean, great maneuvers. I think maybe I overcooked any potential attacking intentions, creating weaknesses. But you know, okay, it makes the game more fun. So, Remon next. Did I just accept the challenge from Remon or not? Oh crikey. Did I just decline it? Don't tell me I've just declined it. Have I just declined it? I'm sorry. He has to like rematch. Sorry, I think I've just blundered declining. If Riemann could re-challenge, I'll find you in the list, doesn't matter what position, and I'll challenge you after. Sorry, Riemann. What a muppet. I was in shell shock from the first game. No. Okay, is Kramnik student around? Hi, Kramnik student. Good game. Let's have a good game then. Okay, it's your turn, yeah? I see you in chat. Oh, did you just go away for a coffee? Oh. All right, we're here. I'll try a normal open Sicilian, right? I could try the Keres attack. Because I mentioned in a video recently about e6 blocking the bishop. So this is kind of, to me, it's kind of an exciting looking position. I mean, it's not as easy as it might seem just to fling the pawns for a vicious attack, but it's got that appeal to me fundamentally when I get this position. Okay, let's just get some aggressive pawns. Like, I don't know if you've seen the Olympiad game of Magnus Carlsen yet. That's quite fun with aggressive pawns. I wonder about knight d5 for knight f5 soon on b4. I don't want to put my knight over. Well, I can't go there anyway. So b4. I'm thinking I'm going to play knight d5. Okay. Can I get some of these lines open with g6? I want to accelerate line opening over here. It looks like a lot of fun to be had with knight d5. Not sure what it does. It looks like there might be some dislocation of black's defensive resources. I think if we can work on pawn structure first, maybe I should have done something with that g6 pawn. The pawn structure is kind of leaning over to the king side a bit. The d5, I'm hoping to dislocate some defensive resources here and try and rip through with h5 if that's taken. Now, if it's not taken, maybe I should take on h7, just h5, h6. I've got that nice bishop now, central bishop. So maybe taking h5, h6. Okay. Try and open up these lines. What's bishop e3 on the cards? No, I don't want to drop d5 just yet. Actually, I'm not really sure now. You know, I think I needed that rook on h1. I've just realized something about this. That I want to get a bishop. Okay, hold on a sec. I want to get a bishop to e6 and the rook back on h1. So I can play f5 and rook h6. That's the essential plan, I think. Bishop e6, king moves there, rook h1, f5, rook h6. Meanwhile, he's going to attack me as well. So f5, rook h6 is the plan. Top secret, don't tell anyone. Top secret. f5, rook h6. It's probably not too subtle, both sides' plans here. And he's trying to rip me to shreds at the same time with b3, so it's a fun position. I'm pretty sure he's going to do a rook sack actually pretty soon. Can I try and slow things down? If I take a3, it'd do a rook sack, which I don't want. Have I got a chance to play takes and a takes? That's queen a5. So I'm wondering about c3 now Takes king a2. All this could be brutal. Rook c1. Actually, in the circumstance, yeah, I'm holding d5. Maybe rook c1. I just want to play f5 if I'm given the chance. Maybe that's not going to happen. No, I think I'm getting hacked, actually. I'm getting hacked, unfortunately. I'm getting hacked, unless there's like b4. Okay, I can attack the queen for a moment. I wanted to play f5. I'm being interrupted here from this f5 plan. Do I get one move for f5? I do. So I want to play rook h6 with this bishop cutting across. g8. Oh, this is quite a fun game, isn't it? Oh, I think I've landed the punch first. I'm sorry, mate. He's got the emoticon. I'm sorry. It was. I'm sorry. I just played like, you know, pawn structure comes first, guys. You know, you want an aggressive pawn chain. Yeah, and then the pieces just, they flow through it. You don't need to calculate sometimes inputs. But it's dangerous. Now, it was dangerous for me. Unfortunately, your pawn chain was really aggressive as well. So it was a super aggressive game for both sides. Now, Remo, did I actually... Sorry, Remon. Now, I'm taking this out of order because you did actually challenge me, Remon. And I managed to mess up there. So this is an exception because he did challenge me before, right? I'm hoping he's around. And then we'll go back in strict order. But he was first. I don't know what happened to his challenge. So I'm going to play knight off. So we have another nice Sicilian. There was a USSR tournament where they all seem to, you get all the top players, I think around the 1950s. I think it was a challenge to find a challenge for Botvinnik or something. But there was one tournament, they virtually all played Sicilian defences back then. It was huge fun. I don't know if you followed those classic USSR championships, but they're fascinating. Okay. White play seems very sensible to me so far, so I'm slightly concerned. I'm going to be in for a fight here. Now, this is definitely going to be a fight. Huh? Putting pressure on e4. Okay, that dark square bishop, I like that. I'm going to put more pressure on these two central squares with b4. Queen c6, queen b4, knight e4. Just fight for the centre here. Going through the centre to the opponent's king. I think I mentioned that theme last week. There's this recent Fischer Tal game I revisited. Sometimes you can get a bit from revisiting the classics. I think knight e4 is interesting. d5, I think might just take. I'm hoping knight e4 is interesting. What about just knight c3? Might not be interesting after knight c3. d5. That's plausible. I think that might actually be plausible. Knight c3, d5. I'm actually hitting the queen there as well, of course. I don't mind this because I seem to have cut the centre a bit in my favour. Knight c3 having d5, hitting the queen. Do I mind this position? Do I mind it? I'm threatening mate. I'm hoping this is okay. I'm on c2 at the moment. Maybe I could even consider. I've got the bishop here basically against the two knights. The thing is he gonna actually defend that right? So bishop d3 here, is this annoying? Just trying to win a pawn. If I take out that pawn, then d5 becomes possible. So it might actually be worth taking this pawn out. Taking this guy out. Rook e1, bishop c4. I think I'm going to take that guy out. Now I think it's a chance to take and then d5 when he's not looking. Because otherwise, this knight d5 could be a pain after bishop d3, knight d5. So this position, I'm hoping, is okay. Where I'm shielding control of d5. If knight c3, can I leave the king in the center? Is it too dangerous? I'm wondering, knight c3, d4. Okay, can we contest this? c-file. Okay, if I get a pair of rooks off, I'm hoping I've just got these nice pawns here, especially my d pawn. Well, both of them. Oh, I don't mind this ending. Let's play this check. Mind you, there's knight h5 to factor in here. Maybe I can take out that nuisance knight, stop the knight being a nuisance. Me tickling my pawns over there. Do I need to play h5? Probably not, but I'll play it. It fixes down a pawn on the dark square, so then that could be a target for the bishop. Okay, I'll fix down these guys. Where's this knight going? Where's that knight going? I could have just snapped it off. Why don't I just snap off the knight? Come on. This position must be good because I've fixed down the pawns on both sides of the board and I've got my two connected central pawns. Mind you, b4 creates past a pawn, but I think my king can just go to it. Thanks for the game, Ramon. Butterfly. What was it Muhammad Ali said? Sting like a bee. Something like butterfly. Move like butterfly. Sting like bee. Does anyone know that Muhammad Ali quote on chat? What's the exact quote? Someone sent me a video of a boxing video for Tyson, actually, for psychology, because it seems every time I play someone really high rated, I play as if I'm going to lose horribly. But I think that's because statistically I will lose horribly, but maybe I kind of give that signal off that. So someone sent me this Tyson video, and Tyson has got his eye on the opponent in the first minute, and he's waiting for a psychological weakness of the opponent to be revealed, and he says basically he's won the fight before it's even started because he's eyeing them up, he's psyching them out. But I guess I do feel like that when playing someone like, oh, it's float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Sorry, I should know that, it's a classic. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. But yeah, so Tyson's eyeing his opponent, waiting for their eyes to drop. I think there are certain parallels between boxing as a physical sort of chess, in a way. I mean, there's even chess boxing, obviously. But the psychology is interesting, that, you know, trying to psych the opponent out. Because actually in chess, if you start off on a bad foot, that means you might have a passive opening or something. So psychology could be influencing our choices, but often when the rating is so high, I'm thinking something my friends at university once said. They don't know chess, but they said these guys that have trained for years and years and years in their openings, what if someone just went totally out of their book? Wouldn't they be really confused, because they're like trained? And I think I'm carrying that idea that, well, you can sometimes play surprise opening against them, but the thing is, the surprise openings do neglect some of the basic principles, and the surprise is if you survive for more than 20 moves, that becomes, unfortunately, the surprise. I'm just trying to stop this bishop g5 on f5, but okay, now what's going on here? Can I just fling the pawns? My opponents are castling quite confidently today. That's nice to see. All this confidence castling on the king side with these pawns about to squish them. Thanks. Butterfly. We'll see if your king survives. It's a good scientific experiment here. Will the king actually survive h4, g5? Interesting. I might even do knight d5 in this game because it would open up the bishop. On b4, I'm thinking knight d5. Yeah, I really am. Okay, I don't want to give up the dark squares, so I'm wondering about g5 straight off the bat. Either for f5 to block that and open up things. I'm thinking g5, h, f5. The reason? Then I've got rook g1, h4. I haven't yet given up g5 totally. Okay, so let me see now. Knight f3. Okay, that's a pain. So yeah, I mean, the psychology of boxing, I find that actually around the Wimbledon period, my chess boosts. And the thing is, the harsh reality of Wimbledon, say women's tennis, it's very difficult for them to respond to the serve. It's not like chess in that respect. They're, you know, virtually the hard serve smashers, like the Williams sisters, I mean, they're virtually winning without too much resistance. It's not like that in chess. Thankfully we've got so much more resourceful play available. That makes the game super interesting, I think. You know, the resolution of resources available in a chess position. But the psychology boosts me around Wimbledon. I'm feeling that more fighting spirit, because there is a bit of psychology though when you see sports on TV. I think there is something to learn, and from football matches, psychology. Okay, so I'm not breaking through, am I? Not yet. Not yet. Can I play rook g4, rook g1, knight f6? So knight f6 is not working right. I'm losing my queen. Okay, so rook g4. Okay, I might have to blockade here. Actually, that does defend the queen and sort out my back row. Hang on, I'm being pushed into a defensive posture. Bishop g5 is working, I think, because of my back row. Actually, I've got... Oh no, my back row's too vulnerable. Am I losing a piece just yet if I play b3? Actually, I'm not. Am I? No, I am. Oh man! Oh man! That was not intended. Oh, that is just not fair. That is just not on, guys. Oh my god! There's this check. Now I'm glad. I don't know. I've got a clock advantage here because that helps to have a clock advantage in a lost position. Okay, thanks. So that was good. I thought your king would have had it, but apparently not. That was sorry. Yeah. Well played, guys. Well played. Yeah. Okay. So Aldisto. So. Okay, let's play a King's Gambit for a laugh. Now this line, don't I play h4 for h5? I think I remember doing this before. Quick h5 to harass this knight. I remember doing this against this line. There are so many alternatives Black has against the King's Gambit, but I've seen Nakamura, he beat Adams, I think, King's Gambit once. He played this c4 plan, putting pressure on the center. So it's not just about trying to get f4, which I can't, to open up the f file, but I can try and put pressure on the center. This looks good for b7 and the center. I like this sort of position. Tyson's in one of my favourite films, The Hangover. I don't know if you've ever seen The Hangover. Yeah, I'm going to give you some good film recommendations. It gets my thumbs up 9 out of 10. The Hangover, hilarious, because it features Mike Tyson as well. And they're dragging Tyson's, I don't want to spoil it for you, but they're dragging one of Tyson's pets. It's hilarious. I don't know if you've seen, has anyone seen The Hangover? It's utterly hilarious. I mean, there were actors that they used in that which hadn't like been mainstream, but they became mainstream after. It's so good for the birth of those actors as well. Actually, Queen G5 might be done as Rook G1. Have you guys seen The Hangover on stream? Okay, so here we go. I've still got my pressure on B7 and D5. Okay, he's letting me take on D5 for some reason. I'm getting this gigantic pawn center. I'm amassing a gigantic pawn center here. Is he going to let me play Bishop F4 as well? It's not disconnected, please. You have disconnected. All right, it's come back. Okay, so Bishop F4. I want to play potentially King G2 and Bishop G3 with that pin. King G2 and Bishop G3. Okay. So this check is annoying at the moment. So he's taking this out of the equation. I don't think I should really do that now in this particular position. Okay, I like my lovely pawn center here. This thrills me, this pawn center, a little bit. This knight's surviving another day to tell the tale on G3 for the moment. I like my bishops. There's Bishop G6, there's E6. E6, is his plan Queen D6 for something naughty on H2? I guess that's the plan, but I love the pawns here. I can't resist that. I think on Queen D6 I might just play King G2 or somehow, I don't know, Rook H3 maybe. Rook H3 to get out of the line of fire. I think G4 is not quite working. Also that means, also there was like a check there, wasn't it? I've got C5, Queen D5. C5 seems on the cards. C5 is on the cards here, surely. Because Queen D5, I don't know what the compensation is after I take on B6. I can't see it, the compensation. I'm sure I'm threatening C5 here. Yeah, I don't like the loose pieces. That is a loose piece. Queen D6 did like maybe threaten 94. Maybe there was King G2. I'm not entirely sure that was a great threat on Knight H1, King G2. Okay, there's still C. I kind of run him over with C5. Can I not just run him over in the center? There's also Bishop G6. I don't think Knight D5 is working. It's worth having a quick look. I don't think it does anything. I don't think Black's rooks are in a position to do anything. They're not really the most aggressive rooks. They've been asleep during this game. Hello, rooks, wake up! Wake up! Over there! A8! H8, wake up! Okay, just kidding around. Alright, well, this doesn't look the most aggressive piece sack ever, because I just cannot see it. I just cannot see it. I can take on B7. Oh, he's on the rook! Oh, I see! He's on the rook! Alright, there's method to the madness. Okay. King G2, G4, and I won't be laughing very long after that, will I? So, alright, G4 looks a little bit scary, connecting some pawns together. Maybe Rook H2 then. I'm worried about G4 a little bit. Okay, the pawns are getting a little bit dangerous. If I take on Queen C6 just to try and extinguish any problems in advance with the queens being on, I wonder if I can play Queen C6 just to get the queens off. And we could castle. There's Rook H4. And I'm on the knight on G3 if he castles. I don't think there'll be time to castle. Rook H4. Ah, okay, I'm going to lose a rook. Not under hugely bad circumstances. Or does he play h3? Okay, I think I'm just taking that. I think there's no even queen d6 here. I can't see it. I can't see it. Maybe I should be able to see something. I can't see anything at the moment. With this rook out of play, with queen c6 imminent, I cannot see what black does here. Okay. I missed that one. What about here? Just to go into e6 next. Let's get the queens off. It'll be boring. It's reassuring to get the queens off. Okay. Thanks for the game, Aldisto. Alright. Here we go. Marcel, hello. I think I'll try it. Shall I try Nimzowitsch defense. Start off with this. This is a 3-minute game. This is more suited for 3-minute or bullet. This opening, surprising opening, surprise weapon a little bit, but not too bad because it provokes dark square weaknesses. Yeah, I think, okay, so coming back to this psychology of watching sports like football, boxing, I think it helps one's overall psychology. I think there have been a lot of people saying the good chess players are very good psychologists. I think my friend Paul George has always said that you need to be a good psychologist. And in my early encounters with my friend Paul on over the board, he would play into openings he knew I'll be uncomfortable with. You know, avoiding any counterplay by me. And yeah, we haven't played that much in recent years, but in the early encounters he slaughtered me. Just from a psychological perspective, he took a lot of the fun out of the positions that I would have craved for, and he just made it one way, the games, zero counterplay games. So anyway, here, my opponent is giving up a knight. I think king g2 was necessary there to carry on. King g2 was needed. Yeah, king g2 was needed. Okay. By the way, my warm-up music this week was Simple Minds in concert in the Netherlands, and I'm wondering why everyone's beautiful there. And it's probably because it was in the Netherlands. There's a concert around 1997 uploaded. The video was uploaded in 2007, but it's worth checking out if you like Simple Minds, their music concert on YouTube. Okay, I'm getting through here on the king side. Yeah, I've recently got a bit of a spurt of interest with Simple Minds because of the film references. They're in certain interesting films. Okay, I'm double check, mate. Okay, thanks Marcel, thanks. All right, so Colin, hi, Colin Cohen. Hi. So I'll play knight c6 again, I think. That worked quite well in that game. Now this is a different variation. This is testing it on 5-minute chess. You see, white is keen sometimes, maybe overly keen, to start putting the pawns on the light squares. But I've got a nice dark square counterplay just naturally as part of this opening now, it seems. You can't really complain about this sort of position, I think. With black, too many perspectives. As long as the bishops are not blocked in, the knights seem quite aggressive. The dark squares seem quite nice. I'll stop the bishop g5 just in case. Maybe I'll tuck the bishop in bed over here, a6, bishop a7. I won't mind an exchange. That'll weaken f4 later if I wanted to get rid of my bishop. Not like that though, that's unfortunate. Okay, I should have played a6. Inaccuracy by me. I should have played a6. It should have been on a7, waiting for bishop e3. This doesn't usually happen. Bit more concerned than usual now. White's got that dart, it's going bishop. And that's can I sack on h3? That's my first thought there, with queen c8 and sacking on h3. I'm sure he'll play king h2, but maybe knight h7, f5. Carry on with knight h7, f5. Knight h7, f5. So king h2, knight. Oh. Okay, I've got my knights ready for an attack here. Surely. Knight h2, knight h4. Bishop e2, knight g4, which stops knight h2. And then basically I do knight h4 after. I mean, looks, I'm also protecting my h6 with this idea. I'm on f3, there's no bishop f1 at the moment. So this is interesting. I think this is worth a punt. Although this is a little bit further than my ideal Nimzovich defense. I should have had the bishop on a7, should have got rid of this guy. But even so, I've got the two knights coming in potentially. If I take a knight g4, I want to maybe get the rooks involved with f5. Takes knight f4, bishop f4 is not working. f5, not quite working. Not sure, I'm not threatening anything at the moment, because queen h2, king f1, queen h1, the king's just going to run. Fascinating. How about knight f4? If it takes, I get that e5 square. I'm getting that e5. Also, I'm on this bishop here, so I can just... That, I'm not sure that moves too hot. I'll just take... Taking here, but it takes on g4. So all that just knight e5, threatening knight f3. Also, I'm on this bishop, so takes. I'm on the bishop, and I'm threatening knight f3. That would seem to be winning a piece. Yeah. Okay, this position seems to be winning a piece because I'm on the bishop and I'm threatening knight f3. Okay, there's bishop e2, but then maybe f5 then and get the rook in. That would seem to be a good time for f5. Well, knight f3. Okay, maybe I'm not winning an exchange. King moves to f2. Knight takes, and white is playing on. So that might not be ideal after king f2. Although queen h2, king f3, no, f5, ef, I don't think it's kind of working. I don't want to be in a pin there after king f2 particularly. So what about, for the moment, the check? King moves, f5 takes, rook f6. Yeah, if the king goes to, I want to get rook f6 to h6. So I wonder, king h1, f5. Let's factor in rook g1. Or knight f3 here. I don't think knight f3 is doing too much. Okay, I'm going to just cash out here. I'm going to take here on rook f5. I think the ending's okay. So it takes knight d3, rook d3, rook f5. I think the rooks, my rooks are fine here, surely. I'm a pawn up. That's enough. I'm a pawn up. Well, we're going to transition. How can he create a pass pawn? Just want to check this out fundamentally. He's not creating a pass pawn, right? There's no breakthrough to forcibly. unless I'm completely dreaming. This is a winning, like, king and pawn ending with the extra pawn, no? I'm wondering b4, a4. There's no weird way of creating a passed pawn, I hope, with some sacrificial breakthrough. You've got to watch out for those pawn breakthroughs. I'm not entirely sure how that happens. Well, hang on. If he played for a5, I just take. I've still got this one. The double pawns. I've still got that in reserve to stop a6. I can't see how b4 takes c5. I just ignore that. I play c6. Maybe. But is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? This kind of sacrificial. He gets the pawns like this. Is going to be. We're going to be testing this soon. Is he just dragging my king here tactically to win this position? Maybe there's some breakthrough that I'm missing here. He has this, then he has c5. Will I take? Hang on. Okay, I've got to visualize this. It's going to happen on the board. Don't tell me he's got some breakthrough. This might be the time for king e4, the panic button. Just in case. I want my king to have an option of stopping these pawns. Alright, thanks. I was getting a bit concerned there about this king and pawn ending. A little bit concerned. Okay, hello, Shadow Mate. How are you today? Kenko time. It's going to be a London system. Is he going to play E3 and C3? Okay. I make out that I don't like playing against the London system, but actually it's one of my secret facets of life. I love playing against the London system. So for anyone out there, actually I really love playing against it. It's one of my favourites. Yeah. You can tell I'm telling the truth, right? I'm telling the truth. Okay, it's not a London system anyway. He's played c4. That's very brave. Thank you. You played c4. That's not as timid as c3. There's a lot of central pawn tension here, which I might be tempted to resolve here to try and give white the isolated queen's pawn. Do I worry about d5? That's the question. Probably not. I mean, I hope not. Knight a5 and bishop e7 on d5, knight a5. So it'll be bishop b7, knight b4, and just isolate this isolated queen's pawn. I mean, blockade it with knight b4 to d5 later if I get a chance. Also, in this particular position, there's a nuance here. This bishop's a tempo gainer. If I get a blockade, okay, stopping knight b4. Okay, it's not going to be that clear cut. So knight a5, rook c8, knight c4. Intriguing. If this knight a5, rook c8, knight c4 plan is interesting, I don't know. As an alternative to blockading on d5, if I can get the light square bishop out of this position, man, it's going to be dangerous on that diagonal. Might play g6 soon. Might. Actually, I think knight d5 could be kind of nifty. Knight d5. 95. So I'm on the bishop on f4. I think the isolated queen pawn positions are worth studying quite a bit, as Nimzovich recommended. They can get them from so many different openings. This is a classic pawn structure. I've actually got planned a classic annotation actually, which excites me conceptually. A master game, Keres won against Tau, where Paul Keres played the Tarish defense. I don't want to spoil it. It's coming soon on the Kingscrusher channel. But anyway, is knight b3 possible here? He's taking and take on a7, right? Is f6 possible? I know that's crazy looking, but what if then rook c4 after? f6 might be what the doctor orders here. Hang on, knight d7, is that destructive? Rook d8. There's also queen b3 to consider, knight b3, knight c4. There's various possibilities coming up here. Queen b3, he's got queen d7 at minimum. Knight b3 isn't entirely terrible, probably, if I want to try and get control of the c file, but it loses a7. That's a bit of a downside. What about just g5, g4, just trying to undermine white center? That looks more fun. I've seen this idea before at some point. It's about central control here, using the flanks, trying to influence the center. In fact, can I not just carry on like a caveman for a moment to get a pawn on h3 potentially? Okay, I'm dropping a7, or do I play knight c6? I could drop a7. I'll keep it for a moment. So b5, knight a5. I want to play h5, h4 just for a laugh. I mean h4, h3. Okay, we'll go back here, protecting a7. The queen's sitting there, perched nice and central. So this outrageous stuff I'm playing on the king side might have a method to its madness. Might. If I get a pawn on h3, or am I just weakening myself? Interesting. Yeah, I'm prepared to forget the h3 plan. I want to keep control of e4. I wonder about bishop f6 or bishop d6. Maybe bishop f6. Just to try and fight for this central control a little bit more. Okay, towards the center. Yeah, I like my queen here. It's perched nicely. Its queen's tied down. Can I not just grab that center pawn? There's a check, so I'm not too worried about these knight movements. As long as there's a check available, I can do something with check. Okay. I'll put the bishop back over here. It shields the king. Everything's protected. There's no loose pieces here. You want to try and avoid the loose pieces. It's fundamentally just to make sure no blunders. It's like a form of, I guess you can form a form of prophylaxis, that you don't have loose pieces in your position, because you don't want little disasters tactically to happen. You might actually be threatening e6 here. So, okay, e5. Now, when I say about prophylaxis, I don't mean of the off-the-shelf counter. It's a term like Nimzovich has talked about to sort of provide security to your position in advance. Yeah, if you ever read Nimzovich, My System, it's interesting, but he has a lot of interesting ideas. So okay, so knight e5 to f3 or d3. I think knight e5 to d3 looks a lot of fun. Let's have a knight on d3. Yeah, I kind of like my position by this point. White central control is gone. Okay, thanks for the game, Shadow Mate. BWG is thankfully a premium member. I haven't got any challenges from non-premiums, right? To clear those out in advance. Alright, let's try and play d4. Solid game. Duke Crusher, did you challenge 25 minutes before the show? I don't remember deleting. Maybe it was an auto delete. Do you want, if you really did, if you swear that you challenged 25 minutes before the show, challenge me again and I'll put you on a priority list just on this one occasion if you want, because we've got an aborted game here anyway. I think. Where is BWG? Where is he? Okay, Duke Crusher, send me the challenge. I'll fit you in. Yeah, I'll be like the dentists, fitting you in, emergency appointment. If you're really claiming that. Duke Crusher, I'm not biased towards your nickname. Oh, there you are. You're second in a row anyway. We're coming up to you. So I might as well just play this 26-37, my strongest challenge yet. I'll be getting to you in the next game. You're in the queue, the next game. You're in the queue. I'm gonna have to change my camera pose. This is my serious look now. All right, let's try a Queen's Engine defense. Not sure about c5. This is a 3-minute game as well. Probably a bit less commentary in this one. I'm trying to sort of think without being annihilated a little bit more than usual. Not sure about Queen b6. Maybe he just takes on f6. That's a nice position. Although knight e4 here, bishop e3. Does that lead anywhere? Queen a4, knight b4. b4, no, I don't think so. Don't think so. Let's go with this for d5. Could double my pawns. Maybe I'm going to play for d5. I'm not sure really what's happening theoretically here. It's only a 3-minute game anyway, so don't expect as much commentary, guys. It's pretty fast-paced stuff, 3-minute games. Cross between bullet and 5-minute. That looks a little bit strange. He's going to finch out over the bishop. Oh, he's just winning the exchange. Okay, can I do this to try and sack an exchange under sort of favourable circumstance? Take and take. If I can sack the exchange under semi-favourable circumstance, it builds up my centre pawns. Ah, maybe not. This looks like the exchange down for not much. Do I get any counterplay here? I wonder. I'll go all in over here for a moment. So bishop d7, I haven't got rook f8, unfortunately. I'm not on the bishop there, okay. I've got an e3 for a moment. queen that pawn. d4 is not doing anything. Just weakening my squares a bit more. e5, e4. Maybe d4 is worth a punt. Hang on a sec. For knight d5. Yeah, rook e1, knight d5. There's bishop f4, there's g5. But rook e1, knight d5, bishop f4, g5. This is interesting for a moment. Put some pressure on e3. If I can get one pawn back for the exchange, and it stops rook c7. Yeah, one pawn back for the exchange would be interesting. Okay, yeah. Let's not think too long. I think I've got to move quick in this particular scenario. The exchange down for not much. Is he taking the... He's not entirely quick for his rating, 2637. Very impressive, but I might be getting a smidgen of counterplay at the moment, unless I'm imagining it. I think queen f4, knight h3. I'm going to get knight e4 in. It doesn't look entirely bad. Knight g3 almost. I'll play for knight g3. Oh. Put the rook back. This back row is a little bit potentially vulnerable. There's knight f2 for queen e1. Oh. Okay, can I threaten mate? Threatening mate. He's threatening mate again. Okay, if I play the check. I mean, if he plays the check. Oh, I've just been mated. Oh, needed to get my king out of there. Well played, well played. Oh, that was good. I needed to move my... I don't know how difficult that... I should have played rook g8. Oh, you're getting a bit crunched on the clock there. If I played rook g8, I think it might be in a different story. I thought about... For some reason, I miscalculated. Well played, well played. Okay, Duke Crusher. Duke Crusher. That could have been good rating for me if I just won on time. Let's get it out. It's good to externalize the emotions. A form of therapy. Externalize the emotions. Okay. If I play like this, where does the bishop go? Bishop c5. I'm winning that bishop on b7. Well, there's a nice pin here. Bishop e5. I'm taking. Okay, bishop c3. Bishop c3. Queen d3. I could put the bishop on b5. Okay, so okay, queen f4, knight g5. as a plan. The king's can't castle, cut in the centre. That's interesting. Knight g5. I'll play it anyway for probing some potential weaknesses. Okay, I don't want to lose the knight. Knight e6 here. Queen g7 looks crushing. Knight e6 and queen g7. There's no rook f8. The bishop's on a3. Oh, knight e2. Hang on, there's knight e2. Winning my queen. Oh no. And it's with check. hang on. Yes, no, that was winning the queen with check. No, because otherwise there'll be like. Funny enough, there would have been knight g7 check. If this hadn't been check, knight g7 was actually checkmate, wasn't it? Because anyway, we'll have to have a look at that in a moment. I'm just human. I just blunder like the rest of you guys. We might have to do a little post-mortem there. Just for the record. Just for the record. Oh, crikey. Alright, there's bishop c5 here. Trying to pick up b7, so I take here. I've got my passed pawns over here. I don't mind this rook against knight and bishop. Sorry. Oh no, the bishop's protecting. Oh god. No, it doesn't matter. I'm going to take this rook. Okay, the rook is going to fight the knight against bishop. Now I've got double post-traumatic stress from 2 games now. This one and the game before. Now I'm acting as if I haven't, as if everything's okay, but it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Clearly, I'm just focused on the current game, not on what's just happened. I think I was given a bit of good advice when I was streaming recently to take a deep breath. I'm going to take a deep breath. Okay. Everything's okay now. I've got a nice pin. I've got a nice pawn, pass pawn. There's trump cards. The trump cards. The pin and the pass pawn. I've got a pawn over here as well. When this king unpins, I'm tempted to what am I tempted to do? Rook d8 for a6. I've got pass pawns everywhere. And now the bishop's not moving without h8. Okay, I'm taking this guy. Oh, sorry, better not take that. Let's just take the phone off for a minute. Oh. Okay, thank you, Duke. Let's have a quick look at a critical moment. Wait, didn't I just hallucinate? I was just losing the queen. Oh man, I just played queen. Okay, Let's analyze this. Wasn't there just knight e2 check? I mean, how do we get the analyze again? I think it's one of the options here. Well, anyway, we don't need the engine to analyze. But basically, if it wasn't, it's check. Either way, it's check. It's always check. It doesn't matter if my king goes to h1 or f1. It's brutal. It's just check. Otherwise, if it wasn't check, knight takes g7 would have been mating. I wouldn't take the queen. I'll play knight takes g7 checkmate. How funny is that? So you nearly had me, Duke. I'm sorry, but I give you recognition, clear recognition. You had me. Okay. Let me decline non-premier challenges. Okay, first note, isn't it? Valnut. Hi, Valnut. Is Valnut there? Yes, is Valnut there. Let's try King's Engine defense. Now this is one way I've seen of playing the position. I think I've once seen, at least in real life, Michael Hennigan, who's a good King's Engine player, play it like this against the Fianchetto variation. You can play it just as though you're playing it against the classical, basically. So h6, f5. h6 and f5 for f4 later. Oh right, the sort of bayonet attacky system now, mixed between the Fianchetto variation and the kind of dreaded bayonet attack. Okay, I'll play for f5. I'll try and slow the onslaught a little bit. Sometimes this works as a slow down move, sometimes it might not be so clever to play a6. But I've seen it sometimes as a slowing down move. Although in principle you shouldn't really play where the opponent has got the advantage in pressure. So, but anyway. So I wonder, g5 or is that too risky here? The diagonal, targeting the little diagonal here. If I can get to play rook c8, rook c8, rook c8, and then what? I don't like this diagonal actually against my king, particularly. Diagonal against my king. Right, I can pin this knight. It might be worth tactically just pinning the knight for a moment. Actually, f4 takes. Now this makes sense to play f4 in some way. Knight h5 for bishop c3. The rook and bishop coordinating on c3, I hope. So knight h5, and then c3's hanging. But he's always got bishop d4, but I don't think that was intended. Okay, so here I'm on f4 and c3. And there's rook c3. I think also knight no, not knight f4. Maybe let me see, knight c8. Where does the queen go? Basically, where's the queen go? That might be important. Where the queen actually goes here. Fascinating. Where does the queen go? Let's imagine the queen goes to e2. Well, I don't need to imagine. Okay, can I kick this? Go on, take the exchange. I want the f4 square for knight f4. I'm playing knight f4 immediately. Hang on a sec. Oh, shouldn't have pre-moved that necessarily. Knight f4 would have been interesting there to consider. Knight f4. I like the dark square pressure here after knight f4. Queen, okay, d1, queen d1. Bishop e5 is nice on the dark squares, potentially with knight f3, I guess. Okay, I'm thinking this is okay. A nice pin. Well, it's 92 check. Yeah, 92 check. Okay, thanks, Valine. Thanks. Okay, next challenge, Koval. Hello, Koval. Let's try keep things fun with Sicilian Najdorfs, because I think that's, to me, a kind of Rolls-Royce variation of the Sicilian, and fun, a little bit of fun. This stuff. Maybe I should have considered b6. Not here, not here. I'll play it here. I'll get my knight c4 in. E5 could be dangerous. I get my knight c4 in. I want e3 and b2. That means c3 is weak. d5 and bishop b4 would be a nasty pin on c3. Try and torture c3 here, basically. Queen g3 after. I can't play this. There's going to be queen g3 after. What about knight d7 for a moment? So I still want to play bishop b4. French defense structure transposition. Can't play queen g3 just yet. Queen c3. Queen takes c3. I'm threatening at least bishop b4. If that b2 pawn means anything, it's the control of c3. Okay, so I'm wondering bishop b4 is the key threat here that needs to be addressed. Oh, knight c5 to e4 is interesting. Because now that knight's not controlling e4, if I can plonk a knight in here, try and weaken this diagonal to the king. So knight e4 coming up. I guess I need to be concerned about f6 or f takes. But I want to sort of, yeah, do this thematically to get a knight on e4. Though it does lose a pawn. I'm playing too quickly, maybe. Let's slow down at some point. so I don't get mated, hopefully. Round about here might be worth slowing down. Bishop c5, knight h5. Maybe I need to take that pawn out. Starting to be a bit scary. If I play here, I've got to move my king shortly. Yeah, I'm wondering, like knight h5, king h8, queen g3, rook g8. Does the bishop belong on c5 or d6? Maybe maybe I'll go with c5. I'm going to play king h8, rook g8 before I get mated with something horrible. King h8 and rook g8, and also that's sort of counter-attack potentially on g2. This diagonal, some coordination point g2, so king h8, rook g8. I'm thinking takes, discovered it's queen c6 for queen g2. Something to bear in mind, this little tactical mechanism. But for the moment, yeah, king h8, so knight e4, king h8. Takes, there's queen c6 on g2. So if takes, there's queen takes g2 mate. Let's get out of this mating stuff for a moment. I'm hoping. Rook g6, I just want to get out of the mating stuff. There's no queen sack, I hope. Maybe rook g6. Okay, the queen sack, I don't, if I can rule out knight f6, this should be safe enough. There's e5 here. What's wrong with e5 here? A dog barks outside. Okay. It's not Kaylee. Kaylee's right out of the place. Alright, it's on c5, huh? First thing. I think taking e3 for bishop g2 looks like a lot of fun. Get the queens off. Get this bishop liberated. Just positionally, just to liberate the bishop, if nothing else. So what do you think? Trebled pawns. Protect this guy for a moment. Oh, f7 is winning a rook. Oh, that's clever. e2 in response. Yes. I'll pretend as though it's not a big deal. just f8. I was winning a rook. There's no rook b7 just yet, so I'm wondering about rook f7. Get my form pawn, my favourite form pawn, like a goal hanging pawn. There's check and king d6, just to stop knight d5, protect b7. Rook b1, rook h1. Hang on. Okay, this pawn as well is dangerous. King's aggressive. I'll keep that because I got this one. Okay. Yeah, I think I think just f8 at the right. Everyone was pointed at f8 here. I think it was just, yeah. Okay, I think you were better there. I'm pretty sure you had f8 at one point. Thanks for the game. Oh. Okay, Crescendium. Yeah. So much for my g-file attack there. Counter attack. It didn't quite work. So I'm playing these Sicilian Najdorfs for fun. I don't always play Sicilian Najdorf. I think e5 here might be worth it. Play this for fun. Trying to provoke some weaknesses with f3 if f3 is played. Okay, d5 could be good fun here. d5, trying to just liberate just in time before there's a big binds put on that break. Okay, I don't mind the queens coming off particularly. Knight d4 looks interesting. That c-file, I'm still enjoying it here. That's the important thing. White hasn't got the huge binds that white often gets on d5. You know, a huge knight on d5 is the classic thing in that structure. So I've relieved my prison with, you know, that pawn structure, which can often occur. So here, okay, it seems pretty good, I think. This position doesn't seem entirely without merit to me. I got my pressure on the c-file. I'm threatening things. Maybe bishop b3 in this position. Rook c2 for rook g2. So rook d4, rook c2. Rook d2, maybe d3, c3, f5. Maybe bishop a3 coming up. f5. d3. I think d3 first. Just to do something with that pawn. c3, f5. There's some nice pins here. I'm wondering. Bishop c2 for rook. c3 for bishop a3. Oh, he's going to take that pawn. Bishop c5. Knight e3. Knight d3, bishop e3. Unfortunately, there's rook e1. I need to castle. I think I need a castle basically. But now bishop c5 is possible for bishop e3. Knight d3, bishop e3, rook d3. I'm taking the knight. Rook e1, maybe. Okay, maybe rook e1. Rook e1. Yeah, I'll play bishop c2 here. Okay, is it worth bishop e3? Looks nice. That seems to be winning some material. And bishop d5 doesn't do anything. And to take on f2, rook d2. I haven't got anything there, unfortunately. So I'll just take the exchange. I'll crash for rook d2. There's rook c3 after. Knight e5, rook d2 for rook c3. I'm hitting the bishop. So rook c3. There's rook b8 here for rook b2. No bishop d5 in this position. So rook b2. It's like forced mate nearly. Alright. Missed that one. It's a bishop up. I'm not losing that bishop, am I? I don't think I'm losing the bishop. Bishop f2 looks dangerous. And pawns are all on dark squares. If I get a chance for bishop f2, I'm going to munch these pawns, I think. All of them. And have my past h pawn. Bishop's on c7. Maybe past the f pawn then. I'll use the past the f pawn instead. I've got a nice blockade here. g5, create two pass pawns with g5. King can hold the g pawn. Pass pawn there and there. Okay. f3. I mean, there's always rook f7, bishop c7. Swap the blockader. So rook f7, bishop c7. Bishop c3 to e1. Right, these pawns over here are a little bit scary. Bishop c3 threatens rook c6. So there's no time for b5, I think, because of bishop e1. b6, rook c6. Alright, okay. Alright, there's some tension still in this game. I need to eliminate these pawns or blockade them. f1 threatened. Can I eliminate them? a5, I can just take that actually. Okay, fun one. Yeah, fun one. Thanks, Crescendium. Okay, Petrov. Hello, Petrov. I'll play as many Sicilians as I can in this session, I think. And I've also got a Facebook page. I've got quite a few British titled contributors. If you want to check out Facebook Sicilian Defence page, we've got both multinational contributors on our Facebook page. Sicilian Defence, I started many years back on Facebook. But it's one of my favourite openings, basically. So send in the fans. I didn't get to play it here, but I think it's one of the most fun openings to E4. Stood the test of time. It's that mix of being fun and not too unsound. It's not unsound. It's not as solid as, say, Petrov or Berlin, but it's fun. There was one year, one of the top players, Boris Gelfand, was killing everyone in Neidorf's. It was quite fun. Okay. Bishop d7, b5 is the standard way to get some counterplay. Probably I want to take on f3 here. Oh, he's letting me play this plan, isn't he? Usually that's clamped down on. That b5 is usually clamped down on. Now, you might think, what the heck does it do? I mean, it does a few things sometimes. Here it might actually just be threatening to win material. But also, I'm threatening to just weaken c4. I could just take on c4 and rook b4. So it's that structure, tactics. Okay, so I could build up behind bc. I could play bishop h3 for a moment. Bishop h3. Maybe, okay, I don't mind weakening the line squares a bit. Building up behind bc. Or, I mean, what else? I think it's just comfortable to have this in anyway. Okay, although my rook b6 might not have been very clever, I've just realized. No, that was not clever. Meltdown of the pawns here. Takes. I don't know, I think this is virtually forced now. That silly rook b6. Oh, knight's not doing anything. I don't know. So we'll hold up things a bit with queen a5. Pin. That's winning a pawn, right? Oh, this has gone a bit bad. Naughty. What have I done? Go for the exchange of queens then. I'm wondering if e4 is going to be a little bit vulnerable. If I can try and hold this. It probably doesn't look too likely. Only tactical opportunity there. Knight d3. So I'm on the knight. Knight e5. Could be a tricky knight. Groveling has to be done here. Grovel. Rook c2 is interesting. Perhaps not entirely without chances. It's only a pawn in a way. Okay. d6 I take, protecting there. Knight g4 is interesting. Knight g4. Okay. Bring the king up. Knight d4, rook c3 check. I'm getting a pawn back. Can I play knight c4? King there, check. Takes. I'll be losing another pawn. king f runs into f4, and there's knight g4. So actually that might be worth a punt. Provocative. But f4, knight g4. Oh, this is getting a bit shaky. Trying to provoke f4, pawn down. But knight g4 check is a good hook for the knight, right? Knight c3, maybe over here, rook g2. Rook g2? Not so easy. I just want to get away from my rook being attacked by the king for a moment. Is there a check? There's king d4. Okay, this as planned, this one. As mentioned. Not as planned, as mentioned. G3 has to be addressed, right? Now if knight e2, knight c4 check is a little bit annoying. So I can play for a draw, it seems. Well, you know, I'm a pawn down, and that's pretty tempting. If I really have a draw here, I should probably see. My opponent doesn't seem to have too many choices apart from to accept a draw. Yeah. I think rook b6 was an inaccuracy picked up very well by the opponent, so well done. Okay, well done, Pinteref. Nice. You nearly had me on the ropes there. Well, you did. Okay. Hi, Legardo. Oh God! Did I just press decline? I've just pressed decline. Sorry. Can Hi Ricardo challenge me again? I've pressed decline. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. If you could challenge me again, you'll be after like next priority. I'm such a muppet with buttons. Come on, accept decline. Anyway, hi MGTOW. Okay, we'll play Nimza Indian. Or Benoni, going to Benoni. Or one of those snake Benonis. Snake Benoni. Just for fun, let's introduce the snake Benoni as an interesting, new, exciting concept in this session. So it's a little bit like the Benoni, as I mentioned earlier, but this bishop is intriguing in its movements. My interest in it has been awakened recently because I actually beat a really strong player on another site called Lance with the snake Benoni, but he did berserk me somewhere, and so I had 10 minutes against his 5, but still he usually just kills me every game. So anyway, the snake Benoni is quite a good surprise weapon, it seems. Not everyone's geared up for the particular nuances of the snake Benoni, which is good. I don't like people too geared up for nuances of every single opening that I play under the sun. So I once played this club match. This guy against my King's Indian just rattled off the first 25 moves routinely, and it was horrible. It was just horrible. Okay. Now, why am I playing b5? Because I want to play bishop b7 and maybe knight b6 and maybe ask about this d5 pawn. If ever he plays e4, the bishop's actually not too bad on this diagonal compared to here. I'm pinning f2. I've also got nice pressure on the center here. I love my pressure on the center. I love this position. After e4, I love the position. Knight c4, love it. Bishops are really good. Actually, can't even play e4. Even better. Even better. Knight c4 looks juicy to me. So rook c8, knight b2. I'm going to go in with rook c8, knight b2. Oh, there's some coordination on f6 there. Might have to take that as a safety precaution. I don't want any discovered on my queen. Oh, I'll get this horrible bishop for a moment and pin that knight. So he's controlling c8. Maybe g6, h5, and then rook c8. Okay, rook c2. What do I do? Rook c2. Do I really play g6 and h5 just to play rook c8? Intriguing. Intriguing. Maybe. Maybe. That's worth it. Just to play rook c8. Ah, there's a piece blunder, I'm afraid. Sorry. I'm not sure about offering takebacks in these. Thanks, McTell. Sorry, mate. It was. I think I had a decent position there, to be fair. So, I mean, I would say, if, yeah. I mean, yeah. No. I think I'm using the surprise weapon quite well at the moment in this session. You guys are not ready for the snake Benoni, are you? Okay, so Shadow Mate. Shadow Mate. Hello. Are you ready? Shadow Mate. I'm playing on the Sicilian. Can't get enough of the Sicilian defenses. I don't know about what you think on stream. What do you think about the Sicilian defense? Are you guys fans of the Sicilian defense? I think it does make for more interesting chess, rich in tactical opportunities. Can I play b5 and live to tell the tale? I hope so. Well, that's e5. e5, I'll be, yeah, slightly concerned. Oh dear. Okay. It's like that, is it? Okay, maybe I should take first and then hope I'm not getting blasted off the board. Queen f3 I'm going to take. Queen g4 might castle. Okay, the knights are holding each other for a moment. As well, knight c6. I've got pressure on e5. Still, that centre file could be interesting as well. I wonder about knight c5 and b4. Knight c5 just to preempt knight e4 from white. If I'm going to play b4, get out this bishop h6. Okay, so b4 without knight e4 now. So in fact, I'm gonna get to play knight e4. So b4, I'm going to go for b4. Still do it. Still do it. Knight e4 now. Okay. And now what? Maybe b3. Try and get some play with knight b4 to d5. If I get a nice knight on... Ah! Not so easy. Is f5 playable? Is that crazy? What about rook d3? Is that annoying to pin? Was it liability? Might be a tactical liability. Never know. But if I can double rook d1, I can afford to play doubling, I hope. Someone play for rook d1. Hang on. Do I take with the knight? As I'm hitting the rook. I was going to slaughter me with rook h4. I think I see the evil plan. Well, there's knight f5 there on rook h4. So I'll go with this for knight f5. Now the rooks are holding each other. No loose rook, which is good. Form of prophylaxis, not to have loose pieces, as I mentioned. I'm hitting the rook, but rook h4, knight f5, forking the queen and rook. Rook g4, knight f5, holds g7, hits the queen. Probably I want to play knight f5 anyway. Hang on, the rook's hanging. Yeah. There's the idea knight f7. Well, that's really interesting. If that was the idea, that's interesting, to say the least. I think queen f5, knight f7, king g8. Seems okay. Yeah. King g8, knight d8, rook d8. I'm knight up. I don't mind giving back some material here. My king is okay. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Shadowmate. Okay, we've got some more challenges. Opening Fanatic. Who's the guy I managed to wreck the challenge? Does anyone remember? If you could type his name, I'm going to look out. Is anyone paying attention to the guy that I managed to decline the challenge of? If you could post his name on the chat, that'd be much appreciated. Okay, so this weird variation of the King's Gambit. It's Morphy's counter, isn't it? The quick d5. Paul Morphy, great player. If queen d4, bishop b5 check, if it takes here, I'm on b7. So I want to just play c3 and have a nice center for a moment, then castle, then try and target f4 later. But I think it's not good things start with a stable center. He's not letting me stabilize the center. But there's queen b7 if queen d4. Where does that rook go? I think that rook's in trouble. I don't think that can be permitted. Okay, so I'm stabilizing the center. I want to just collect f4, I think. Now g5 is a bit weakening. Yeah, I think I just want to... Do I? Maybe. Probably. I think the f file is good. I've got coordination on f7. If I double them bishop c4, I think that would be good coordination on f7. So bishop c4 coming up. On knight f6, maybe even h3, g4. If ever knight d5, I think I'm taking rook f5, this pawn would be weak. So I think this is good coordinated pieces at the moment. That's just dropping a pawn immediately, I think. I was expecting more knight f6. I think that's dropping the key pawn. Yeah, I like the position. If I've got the bishop against the knight, I can't complain at the king's gambit to have, you know, pressure like this. Oh, hang on. Well, I can take with the bishop and then retreat the bishop, and I still have a bit of pressure, I think. If I took with the rook, then knight takes c4 wins a piece. This way, I think I've just won a pawn, non-controversially. Okay, so let's see what's going on. Rook f7. If I get an infiltration on the 7th rank, I'm delighted with the position. Should I be worried about this ending? I don't think I have to fear the ending. I know knights are tricky, but I'm a pawn up. Nice centre pawn up. Bishop doesn't look terrible. Do I dare play g4? I'm daring to play g4. Yes, I'm going to zap that knight if it goes to g6. Ah, hang on, I can imprison the knight here. I've got an option to take that knight out now. The knight has been checkmated. Yes, I'm smiling. I've got that knight under lock and key. That prophylaxis against the knight. Not such a tricky knight in this position, is it? Not such a tricky knight on f8. That knight's not laughing now, is it? Now king d4, d6. So I'm waiting to run the opponent out of moves. So it has to retreat the king, and I'll play king e4. So wait for a zugzwang. I might have to play king e3, but I'm patient. Okay, it's gonna get a zugzwang here. Because only king d4, I've got d6, d7. This looks like a flyaway a pawn after takes. He might have c4. Do I need that hassle? I think I just want a straightforward king infiltration, zugzwang. I don't want to do this necessarily. I think I just want to push back the king here. I think the king's going to be giving up, square after square on king d6. I'll play king e4, king e7, king e5. I think this is a zugzwang. King d4, d6, d6. Okay, so this is betting on his pawns here. Am I overestimating this position? I might be. I mean, he's got a pawn for it. Am I overestimating? I'm holding a4 for a moment. That could be handy. Let's put this check in. Now my king's coming over, right? To blockade. If I can just blockade that pawn, there'll be another sort of zugzwang on the cards, surely, where c3 is at stake. Zugzwang again or not? No. King c4. I'll play it with the bishop on b3 for a moment. Zugzwang here. c3 drops. I'm using the stalemate. Ha ha. Very funny. I'm in Zugzwang, am I? Oh, I don't want to run out of time either. Okay, King C3, ha ha, stalemate. So I'm in a Zugzwang after all that. That's just brilliant. Swap your C3 for A4. I'm going after this. I've got a plan now. I'm going to get this one. I'm going to get this one. I'm going to sack the bishop. Okay, which hasn't been very funny so far, that bishop. Okay, I think I've got control now of the position. Thanks. Close. Close to me. I'm using the stalemating. Okay. Nino. Hello. Nino. Nice avatar you got there. Nino. Okay. Maybe I'll start with knight c6. All right. Okay, knight f6 and bishop c5 coming up. How you doing on the chat then? Enjoying it so far? I might have to make this. I know it's now 2:30. This might be the last game actually, guys. I don't know. It's getting a bit. I might have to go now and help prepare Sunday dinner, etc. I hope you have a nice Sunday afternoon, and check out my film recommendation this week. What was it again? I've forgotten. I did recommend a film earlier. Does anyone remember? They could put it in chat. I'm sure you can get it on Amazon, etc. So, hack attack time, clearly. I'm actually only scheduled for an hour and a half, but I like this so much, I get carried away and give you an extra half an hour. So, yeah. The hangover, yeah, thank you. Because of Tyson came into it for some reason. I started talking about Tyson because of this video where he psyched out his opponents. But yeah, I just remember he's in a film which is really good, The Hangover, which has got part 2 and part 3. I've seen those as well. But the first, when you get the first one, the concept there is just wonderful to see the concept for the first time. Okay, so but they did okay in number 2 and 3 as well. So knight d3, knight d3. I'm looking forward to. Okay, knight d3. Although knight e4, bishop e4 holds knight on d3. As long as that's held, I'm hoping this is possible. Although, you know, knight b5, yeah, seems like good fun for my opponent. Yes, I haven't got too many reactions apart from ouch, why did I do this? Oh well, I'm losing an exchange. My opponent can win whatever rook she wants. Take the choice of rooks. Okay. And I'm in big trouble. Big trouble. I wonder about g6 just to stop knight f5, rook f5, just for the moment. If I can afford to play this for king g7, maybe rook h8. Try and keep some optimism about the position. The knight on d3 looks like a nice octopus knight. I don't know if you've seen that classic game 1985. Kasparov, he has an octopus knight on d3. It's one of my favourite games of all time. I recommend you check that out. If you ever use chessgames.com, it's got best of the best. It's in their top 10 list of best of the best games of all time. It was when Kasparov did this pawn sack in the Sicilian, and he eventually got this. Just the aesthetics for me do it for me. That game was one of my favourite games of all time. The knight on d3. So Karpov, his pieces just didn't find any decent squares, and his knights were like just ruined after. They were like yeah. He didn't get much counterplay basically. Okay, so bishop c8, knight g4 is my evil plan here. Top secret. Bishop c8, knight g4 is my counterplay plan. Okay, giving back the exchange. Obviously worried about my intentions. Okay, now I'm going to play for rook h2. So h3, knight e3. Let's imagine this position like self-pin. Is there anything clever about the self-pin? I wouldn't have thought so. Knight e3, rook e1. It doesn't seem entirely clever. On the other hand, queen e3 seems much brighter in that it doesn't seem to lose immediately. I hope. So I take out this Finch-out bishop or not? Maybe rook e8, so another self-pin opportunity, which again doesn't seem entirely clever because of knight c2. But I know maybe it's worth sometimes checking these self-pins out. Occasionally, everything's like occasionally okay. Knight g4, rook e7. Yeah. Rook e7, bishop c8. Maybe for knight f2, for knight h3. On knight e6, king f6. Maybe. Rook e7, bishop c8, knight e6, king f6. Idea. Knight f2, knight h3. So knight e6, king f6. Plan knight f threat, knight f2, king g1. Not sure about knight f6, knight e6. What about knight e5? Gives me the f6 square still. Okay, I lose a7. Hold on, yeah, my knight's attacked. I'm losing a7. Hang on, bishop h3 is on here. Rook a7, bishop h3. Okay, I'll protect a7 for a moment. Knight c6 on d6 is now dropping, is it? Alright, a bit grovelly. Oh, knight d6 is possible here for rook e5. Unless there's king f6 there. Knight d6, king f6. Where does the rook go without dropping? I think that's a little trap. My opponent has navigated past that. Can I fix the bishop in here? Can I do this? More problems on the way. Can I just be annoying as hell? So rook b6, rook a7. Alright, I can take that, and then a4. I don't mind this position anymore because my knight's pretty good. If I get a rook to the 7th, I'm happier. Should I be happy dropping d6 here? Yeah, because I can get a knight to f4. I can help that rook on the 7th. I can always play rook d2 at some point. Although there are multiple passed pawns in this position to worry about. Probably rook b2 is important at some point. If b6, rook b2. Okay, maybe just in case, play it here. Alright, so knight f4 surely guarantees me at least a draw. Alright, I'll take this guy off. Knight f4. Alright, so the pawn's a little bit of a problem. I can win bishop if king f2. Now I'll get this knight back for knight e6. So I'm holding d8. Don't mind the ending here. Yeah, I was lucky there. Sorry. Yeah, you guys, you see, you nearly have me. I mean, many of you nearly have me in this. I'm one of the more beatable ones, I gotta admit. I'm not a GM or anything, just, you know, club player. I go to the cinema a lot. I don't read too many chess books. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this Blitz Banter session. And I do lots of YouTube videos, of course, at youtube.com Kingscrusher. So yeah, thanks for Chess24 for inviting me again for this Blitz Banter. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the session. You know, 1 for boring, 10 for fun. There's a poll I sometimes do. I hope you found it more than 5 at least. So see you next week. I have some lucky escapes. Lucky bunny. I'm a lucky bunny. I had some lucky escapes. You got to try and be resourceful. You got to try and put some obstacles in the way. You know, especially at Blitz. You got to put some obstacles in the way. All right. So see you next week. Yeah. If you start sending your challenges at before 12:30 p.m, then you're more likely to be on my challenge list. And okay, have a great week. Thanks very much.